Breaking updates here as we start your top stories in our Smart Start. After hitting western Cuba, Idalia has intensified. It's now a hurricane approaching the Gulf Coast of Florida, expected to become a major storm before it makes landfall at some point tomorrow morning. Families are busy getting ready with storm preps, and mandatory evacuation orders have been issued for parts of at least 10 Florida counties. Many are anxious as they're still working to rebuild from a year ago and last year's destruction of Hurricane Ian.
My concern right now is, will my home withstand the storm?
This is going to be a major impact, and Floridians should expect that this storm will be a major Cat 3+ hurricane.
The White House says President Joe Biden did speak with Governor Ron DeSantis yesterday, and he's already approved a federal emergency disaster declaration for the state. Of course, one of the biggest issues, the deadliest part of a hurricane, being the storm surge. For the latest on that in the path, here's Liam Healy.
Yeah, as we work our way through into the daytime today, we are expecting that rapid intensification of the storm from a Category 1 all the way up to a Category 3. And one thing that people tend to get hung up on is whether it's a Category 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. That's not often the biggest issue. Even a Category 1 storm can produce very deadly storm surge flooding, and especially with where this storm is heading into that big bend of Florida, especially along these very shallow coastline areas. It's potential that we could see up to 9+ feet of storm surge in some of these very populated areas right up along these coastal communities, and even up into places like Tampa Bay. We could be dealing with some issues of 3 to 4, maybe even up to 6 feet of storm surge flooding being pushed into there as this system begins to work its way into that area. We're going to keep on continuing to cover this and talk a little bit more about it as the day goes on, but it's definitely not looking like a great situation as we continue to see this really begin to take shape into the daytime today.
All right. Thank you, Liam. Sunrise traffic here at 650. Still watching that crash blocking the right lane 490 at Monroe Avenue exit here, passing through the city. Elsewhere on the expressways, good. So are the city roads. We will check your sunrise traffic again during CBS mornings at about 7:25. First, some other developing headlines. Police in Gates are telling News 8 the Tinseltown movie theater had to shut down Sunday night because of crowds of unsupervised kids that started causing the trouble. Chief Robert Long from the department says some teens started to push and shove each other, causing the chaos. Other businesses around that area were asked to close early for the evening as kids started moving to other locations. Police were able to get everything under control with the help of RTS, but Long says this type of problem is getting harder to face.
With some of the changes in society, this is the way some parents are raising their kids, changes in laws, it does make it a little bit harder for us on the police side to enforce a lot of this.
Meantime, Sheriff Todd Baxter with the County Sheriff's Office says these situations have a widespread impact on the community because it usually requires a large response with multiple agencies, and that pulls resources from other areas.
There's a theory, the red hot stove theory. You know, the fact is there's a warning. You're committing criminal activity, or if you touch a red hot stove, you're going to get burned, right? It's equal for everybody. You touch it, I touch it, we get the same burn. There's a pre-warning to that, and there's instant feedback. If you touch it, you probably won't touch it again. And that's really what we're lacking in our whole system, that no one's looking at people as individuals, finding out what's going on in their life so we can intervene, but also there needs to be some consequences.
To a mother in mourning, sharing her grief with News 8 after 2 people accused of murdering her son in Rochester pleaded not guilty. Navier Stewart, an 18-year-old, and 19-year-old Tylea Arroyo are charged with second-degree murder. Police say the 2 fired at a crowd outside of a gas station early Saturday on Dewey Avenue. This followed a fight. The gunfire killed 28-year-old Javante Huff. Police do not believe he was the target.
You took something from me that I created. I gave birth to that kid. And you came along riding down the street being cool. And now you in jail for murder. That young man just turned around and laughed. I feel sorry for him. I don't wish nothing bad on nobody. But I want them to feel the pain that's raging in me right now.
At one point there, the mother who lost another son a few years ago could only utter the words, "Lord, have mercy on my soul." The 2 suspects in this homicide are due back in court coming up Friday. So many in this community are simply fed up, fearful, and want answers for youth crime in the city. Kids as young as 8 accused of setting a warehouse on fire, along with other teens, kids brazenly stealing cars and damaging businesses. During a town hall tonight, the Rochester Black Bar Association is offering a platform here for people to better understand the laws governing juveniles and to ask questions.
It's There's definitely been a conversation around vehicle thefts, and I think that people heard about Kia Boys and that there might have been, I think, somewhere upwards of 2,000 vehicle thefts so far this year. And I think that a lot of people might be keyed into that, and that is one of the questions that we'll be discussing. So how do those get prosecuted? What kinds of charges can be brought regarding those?
On the panel, a representative from the Monroe County DA's office, the County Law and Probation Departments, the Office of Public Defenders, and Legal Aid at Town Hall on prosecuting juveniles this tonight from 6 to 8 on Hudson Avenue at First Genesis Baptist Church. A faculty member at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is dead following a shooting on campus. This happened yesterday afternoon around 1. The suspect was taken into custody about an hour and a half later. During all this, students and staff alike barricaded themselves in dorms, offices, and classrooms for hours until the order for the lockdown was lifted. Authorities have not released the faculty member's ID or suspect's name yet, and the formal charges have not been filed. To the looming shutdown of this region's only emergency vet hospital in Brighton, veterinary specialist and emergency services. A warn notice filed with the State Department of Labor says 132 people will lose their jobs due to the closure. And once that happens, pet owners will have to drive to emergency vet hospitals in Buffalo, Syracuse, or Cornell. The hospital in Brighton will close its doors for good coming up November 27th. We heard from Liam tracking Idalia, that hurricane. There's going to be more on that coming up at CBS Mornings. For now, before we go, our local forecast.
Our local forecast is a lot quieter, but still has the pose of some rain here as we work our way into the daytime today. I think a lot of it's going to be further east, just like it was yesterday. So that's going to be one of the main focuses out by the Finger Lakes. More showers, more storms along that stationary front that's hanging around there. And then we'll also have to watch too tomorrow as we watch a cold front sweep through the area. We're actually going to kick up some response from Lake Ontario, some potential for some lake-induced rain, showers, and clouds all the way throughout the day as temperatures take a dive back into the upper 60s and low 70s. And then a big ramp up into next week as you go into what looks like to be a long, dry stretch. The temperatures climbing into those mid and upper 80s.
Yeah, that'll be Labor Day weekend and the start of school.
Perfect timing.
Thank you, Liam. We'll see you back here at 7:25. CBS Mornings coming your way.
News 8 wherever you are, on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.